What's up, concert addicts? Johnny Kidsvotter here with a festival lineup announcement. And out of all the festival lineups that have dropped, or just festivals in general, this is the one that I've been the most excited to talk about because Rocklahoma is my favorite festival that I've ever been to. In 2016, I went down for the weekend of Memorial Day, which is when it's held every year in Pryor Creek, Oklahoma. It was the best fucking weekend of my life. I'm not going to be able to go this year, but I'm still super fucking excited to talk about the lineup, so get right into it. I got the picture here. I'll just go down the rundown. The three headliners for each night. The headliners are Ozzy Osbourne, kicking off, or not kicking off, but adding to his final world tour that he said he's going to go on for several years. So obviously I'm not surprised he's popping up at these different festivals and things like that. We've seen his name pop up on a couple of them. Obviously, they did Ozfest New Year's Eve. That was a giant hit, so bringing him here for one last time, or I don't know that he's ever played Rocklahoma, so getting him before he goes out is a really good fucking move. The next headliner is Disturbed, who actually played there the first year I went, or the only year I went. They're kind of a frequenter. They've played Rocklahoma quite a bit, according to their previous lineups, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. But obviously perfect for the setting, and Disturbed is an awesome live show. I kind of just knew Disturbed from Down with the Sickness. I wasn't a huge fan, and I saw them live at Rocklahoma, and I bought their album when it came out last year, so I'm a giant fucking fan of Disturbed. Shinedown's the other headliner, and that's a solid get right there. They're obviously a giant touring right now with Papa Roach and Asking Alexandria, who is on this lineup, but Papa Roach is not, and that kind of surprised me a little bit, but because sometimes they bring these tours to these festivals. Nonetheless, they've done a lot of touring over the past couple years with a bunch of big names. They co-headlined with Five Finger Death Punch, so they co-headlined with I'm blanking, with Godsmack. They've done a lot of big shows, and so to see them as a headliner on one of these festivals, especially one like this, it's awesome because they're a great rock band, and this is another one that's perfect for the setting. So all three nights, you're at least going to have a solid headliner regardless of the rest of the lineup, even though it's fucking filled with awesome acts. So I'll get right into talk about the rest of them. The next one's listed, and as of right now, we don't actually know which bands are gonna be on which days, who's gonna be playing before who, that kind of stuff. We just know who's all gonna be there. So we got through the headliners. Now we'll get into the rest of the supporting acts, which is Bush. That's a solid get. They're kind of making a comeback. For a while there, they kind of dropped off, not in the sense that they weren't doing anything, but just their popularity for whatever reason, because there was a while there where they were headlining a bunch of festivals and at least showing up, playing closer to the top on all these festivals. And then there was a couple years there where they were playing like a free show at like a Wyoming County Fair and like playing tiny amphitheaters, and to see them as the first name besides a headliner on a bill is pretty cool because it means they're coming back, and that's fucking great to hear. See, there's the next band, and they're another one that kind of did that, and so once again, it's cool to see them. And what I'm referring to is the Wyoming Big Show. It's the county fair. It takes place at a county fairgrounds in Rock Springs, Wyoming. They have all these free concerts. And Seether was there last year, and Bush was there the year before. And they also have been playing some tiny venues, at least around where I'm at. So it's cool to see them that they're going to be taking the main stage. According to this, probably immediately before the headline act. So it's cool to see that they still have it going, even though they're not pushing as much right now. They still got it, and so it's fucking cool to see. And you know, it's going to be it's going to be a good one, whichever one they put it with. But with my guess would be they're going to be opening for Shinedown. I'm not entirely sure. They don't really have. I'm sure it just comes down to scheduling. It's not really themed, but I think it would fit best if they open for Shinedown. In this moment, it's a solid get. They've been opening a lot of tours and touring on their own, and so it's cool to see them doing the festival. Steel Panther, I've seen a bunch of times. The first time seeing it was at Rocklahoma. That's one of the most insane live shows you'll ever see. And last time they played on the side stage, but with their name being this close to the top, they might be playing the main stage. I'm not entirely sure, but I hope they play the side stage because they were the closing act on the final night at the side stage when I went, and it was a great fucking way to end the weekend. Jackal also on there getting a hair metal flavor. Asking Alexandria, as I mentioned before, they're on tour right now with Shinedown. Tech Nine, this one, oh, that's fucking awesome. If you didn't know, Tech Nine is pretty much the only rap I listen to, and it's because he's a god. I love Tech Nine. I got a poster over there that I stole like 5 years ago, or like 7 years ago, and I still have it. I think he fits in perfectly. He's kind of been known to do this. He plays Rock on the Range, back when it was still Rock on the Range. He played that a couple times. He's played these other rock shows. I know he's friends with Corey Taylor, so he's not a stranger to the rock world. So adding him to this lineup is pretty impressive and awesome. As I mentioned at the top of this video, I'm not actually going to go to Rocklahoma, but seeing his name on this lineup was kind of one that made me think, shit, maybe I should go, because just seeing him in that environment would be awesome. And technically he's a rapper, but his stuff does have some rock vibes to it, and so that's why he fits in perfectly on this lineup. Then we get some southern flavor here. They're doing Blackberry Smoke, and that's a solid get too. I'm not too familiar with them, to be honest with you, but I know they're one of the best southern rock bands. I know they used to tour with Skynyrd all the time, and all the people I know that love southern rock always gush about Blackberry Smoke, so I think that's a good fit. There's another band on this list. It's a southern rock band that I'll get to, but they actually played a festival that I went to last year, or in 2017, called Moonstock, and it really worked. And I'll get more into that when I get to them. Buck Cherry's also on there. They're another one. They released a CD this year, or are releasing a CD, and they're touring in support of that. They're doing this big tour. I know they've got stops all over the place to celebrate the release of their new CD. So it's cool to see them on there. Beartooth coming off some heavy touring last year with Bring Me the Horizon, and a couple other bands I saw them popping up, different shows here and there. So that's pretty cool to see them. Seven Dust is one of these festival circuit mainstays. They were also there when I went to Rocklahoma just a couple years ago. So it's always a solid get to see them. It's always a solid get to get them. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying solid get. But nonetheless, it's a fun show. And they're one of these bands that I think they might stay where they're at forever. But that's perfectly fine, because they just add more awesomeness to an already fun weekend. So can't complain about it, even though if you frequent Rocklahoma specifically, you've seen them 1,000 times already, but it's not even a complaint, because they deliver every time, so why not bring them back? Then Blackstone Cherry, and that was the band I was mentioning when I was talking about Blackberry Smoke, southern rock band. They headlined tonight at Moonstock a couple years ago, and the other headliners, just to give you a picture of what it was like, the other headliners were Five Finger Death Punch, Ozzy Osbourne, and Hailstorm, and I feel like there might have been someone else in there too, but one of them was Blackstone Cherry, was the headliner for an entire night, and it worked for that setting, surprisingly enough. So they'll fit in good here, and I'm imagining they'll probably be on the same day as Blackberry Smoke. The only thing that's interesting to me is the fact that they're below Blackberry Smoke on this thing, because I knew about them before I knew about Blackberry Smoke, and I actually know their music. Whatever, just pointed out. Avatar, same thing as Seven Dust. They play there quite a bit. They were on the side stage last time. That's probably where they will be again this year, and they put on a crazy show. It's like a circus. The dude comes out and is like drinking gasoline, at least makes it look like he is. They've all got crazy costumes and stuff. Fun show. Fever 333 also going to be there. Lita Ford, and that's the best part about this lineup, is usually most of the big, like, iconic names are at the top. But there's another one I'll get to. There's a couple, like, legendary performers that are on here that are pretty close to the bottom, and that just shows you how powerful the rest of the lineup is. The fact that legends like this are this far to the bottom, and it's not a knock. They do also, this is something that they do too, is bring in solo kind of classic rock-ish artists who are solo now. When we were there, we saw Sebastian Bach, Lita Ford, and a couple other people are going to be there this year. That's fucking great. Lita Ford still kills it. I saw her on the tour a couple years ago with Hailstorm, And yeah, obviously she just plays runaway shit, but it's fine because it's awesome. And then Palais Royale. I'm probably not saying that right. I don't know who that is. And the reason that's interesting is because the person that they're above on this list is Ace Frehley from Kiss, who I know hasn't been super successful on his solo ventures, but he has been semi-successful. I think they had him at one of those Las Vegas festivals. I can't remember which one it was. But he put out, I think his album was called Spaceman. You know, obviously because he's a spaceman. But his album that he was kind of touring in support of a couple years ago did okay from what I'm understanding. And I saw him popping up on festivals there. So it's cool to see him back, though I really wish they could have worked something out so that he could do the final tour with Kiss. That aside, still awesome, and you know that's a great addition to this. Next one, I talk about Tech Nine. Maybe he's a little bit out of place in a rock festival. This next one, and this is Southern flavor too, Wheeler Walker Jr., who is probably the most famous underground kind of country, Southern outlaw, whatever you want to call him. His music's awesome, and I mean, if you listen to a song, you understand why they want him for this rock festival. Because even though it's not rock music per se, even though, you know, there's Southern rock vibes and stuff in there, what he sings about is what rock and roll is about. So obviously they got him for this. New Year's Day also going to be there. They just toured with Hailstorm. Also, I believe they were just here with In This Moment also. In This Moment, Hailstorm, and New Year's Day all played a show not too long ago near me. The next line, and this probably we'll stop, probably where we'll stop because I stop recognizing artists and having shit to say toward as we get to the bottom of the list. But this band that's, like I said, close to the bottom of the list, I'm surprised they're close to the bottom of the list because at least this time last year they were probably the hottest rock band in the world. So I'm not entirely sure if they are just kind of leveling out right now or what it is. Because I know they have a giant fan base. That would be Bad Wolves, who obviously has a couple successful songs on the radio right now. Got a big boost from Tommy Vex filling in for Ivan Moody and Five Finger Death Punch 2 years ago. And then Five Finger Death Punch took them on tour. Then Zombie went viral. Or not viral. I guess it did go viral, but I mean, it blew up. It's platinum pretty quick. And of course, people argue that that had to do with the death of the Cranberries singer Dolores. I don't think so. I think it was a great fucking cover that would have been successful whether or not she had died. But there's really no way of telling. But their other song that's on the radio called Hear Me Now is with Diamite something. I don't know what her name is. But that song's awesome, and their album was my favorite album that came out last year, Disobey. And so it's a solid line. I'm a little surprised that a band like Beartooth would be featured ahead of them. It's not a knock. I'm just saying I don't really get it, but that's cool. I'm glad they're on there. The Glorious Sons, they're pretty hot right now. Their song, I can't remember what it was called, but the Oxycontin song that's on the radio right now is a giant hit. Let's see. I'm kind of running out of. We'll throw one more in there. Hyro the Hero, who I was previously unfamiliar with, but he did a performance last year at Headbangers Con, which I've seen some footage from and read some reviews on, and since then looked into his music. And apparently he's been around for quite some time, but for whatever reason he's just now starting to kind of make it, I guess. He's been successful though, so I can't really say make it as though make it. I like as in he hasn't been successful before. I'm just saying more people are starting to know about him now, and so it's cool that he's showing up on this lineup because his show's crazy and he's definitely a new kind of rock that hopefully takes off because I think it's awesome. So there you go. That's the Rocklahoma 2019 lineup. Headliners: Ozzy Osbourne, Disturbed, and Shinedown. So pretty much whatever kind of rock music you like, it's covered just with the headliners. You don't even need to know what the rest of the bands are. But then you got random gems sprinkled throughout there like Tech Nine and Wheeler Walker Jr. It's just sure to be an awesome fucking weekend. Steel Panther 2. Yeah, I might have to rethink going. I'm going to see the Rolling Stones that weekend, which is why I'm not going to Rocklahoma, because even though it's I haven't been to too many, so I can't give a fair assessment. But to me, it's the best festival. It's the best campgrounds. It's just a party for 3 days nonstop. It's awesome, but this might be my only chance to see the Rolling Stones, so I'm not gonna go, but I really kind of want to. We'll see. I might sway more in that direction, but I doubt it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like this video if you liked it and subscribe to the channel. Also check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/concertaddiction, and my website, concertaddiction.com. I'm a couple days late putting this video up. There's a whole bunch of videos that are gonna be coming this week. I've had some shitty stuff happen in my personal life over the past couple days, which is why I kind of had to take a break, which is why there's no podcast on Sunday. Promise that'll start this week. Hopefully. We'll see. But until then, thanks for watching. Like I said, a lot of videos coming up, so keep an eye out for those. And until then, thanks for watching.